Four comedians are also real good friends, working on jokes, the fun never ends. They're asking each other, is this anything? We got Rob Ryan, we got Brett Druck, we got Jarret Berenstein, we got Anthony Kapfer.
Episode 85.
That's great. That's excellent.
We're working on jokes, figuring them out together.
Are you an angsty teen on Maury? I smoke, I drink, I figured out jokes.
We're figuring out jokes. That's how we get away with it. We do it all the time. Ain't nobody gonna catch us.
It's my jokes. I do what I want.
Why don't you cash me outside? All right.
That was a great intro. That was excellent.
No notes.
All right,
No
Rob,
notes.
you want to do the real intro now, or
I thought that was great. I'm happy if our episode starts out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why don't we just go right to the Jarbinator?
Yeah, you guys ready to figure out this week's order? Beep, boop, 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 beep. The order this week is Rob, Jarret, Anthony, Brett.
Whoa! All right,
Yeah.
coming out the gate again. I love it.
Chicago special, we call that.
I since we didn't do 2 episodes last week, we only did 1. Man, I have so many ideas that I'm so excited to share with you guys.
All right, well, you only get to do 2.
I know. It's so upsetting. I have to really pick and choose which ones that I want to do.
Don't forget to start recording.
Okay, I'll do that.
And you can always give some to Anthony if you have leftovers.
Oh boy, which one to do? None of these are good, but I just have a lot of them. Okay, I saw a motorcycle gang come by my apartment. They go by every once in a while. Bunch of there's motorcycles, and some guys are on quads, and there's like 40 or 50 of them. I think the lamest thing about motorcycle gangs is imagining the text thread they all must be on to meet up with each other. Like, we're meeting up at Chad's this week. We met up at Chad's last month. It's a huge amount of organization. I've never had to get that many people except for a wedding. Like, I think it's insane.
Yeah. Hey, Devin, can you keep the surveys for your church group out of this? This is the motorcycle gang text thread. Can you start a separate thread for that, because this is motorcycle gang stuff?
I like this idea a lot, but I feel like there probably is a real answer, and I don't know if that is something that concerns you.
Jarret.
What?
No, I don't have a problem with it. If there's
well,
some Hell's Angels phone tree, I think that makes it even funnier.
Well, my uncle is in a, I guess you're supposed to call them a motorcycle club, but biker gang.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead, Anthony.
No, they have a clubhouse where they hang out. So I'm imagining if they're going to go on a ride somewhere, they all meet at the clubhouse, and they're like, "We're going on a ride." That's what I imagine. At least in the old days. Maybe now they do have text threads. Yeah. But anyway, that's how I imagine it.
I think you can build this joke out with any possible form of communication, up to and including a Slack. Like, I think it'd be funny if they had a Slack. And the one thing that I wanted to add about the text thread was, like, what are the things that groups like that fight about? Like, so when we passed 32nd Street, Andrew did a vroom vroom, but I thought I was doing vroom vrooms on 32nd Street.
Yeah, the more juvenile the language is, I really like that.
I like doing vroom vrooms. That's great.
I think I like that the most because I hate when loud motorcycles go by, and so I want to make them seem as childish and idiotic as possible.
It would be interesting if within the thread, like, someone's having a conversation about, pure logistics, and someone else goes, like, stop typing blah 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 in the chat. We're trying to get things done.
Guys, can you
That's
stop sending
excellent.
motorcycle emojis? We need to know when we are meeting.
Someone says, so should we do another ride this Thursday? And then it's just 10 audio files of people.
But they're doing it with their mouth.
Yeah.
I thought you said on the group message that we were meeting this afternoon. It's the gang message. The gang message. Okay, Barry? It's not a group. We're not a motorcycle group.
They would say club. They would actually say club.
Oh, really?
I'm okay with club, but it would not say group.
Whenever I do crowd work and it's some biker guy I always call it a biker gang, and they hate it.
Oh, interesting.
They do not like that.
There might be like some legal reason for that. Like maybe if you call yourself a gang, you don't get blah, blah, blah protections or the right to meet up the same way.
Well, I'm not sure that it's legal to even be in a gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, I think that a way that you can incorporate some of these ideas is if you do talk about like the history of the communications, you know, the way that some jokes go from like, you know, first we did this, then we did this, then we did this, now we're here. If you start off talking about the letter writing campaign and then the phone tree, part of what travels from version to version is how do they interrupt each other with vroom vroom noises depending on the medium, you know?
Like maybe it used to be a party line. Mm-hmm. And they'd just be all on the same line at the same time, and then they would meet up that way.
Oh, it's so funny.
This is going back to earlier we were talking about, but I think it's very interesting, the club thing, that they don't like to be called gangs, but I wonder if any like Latin kings have tried to get at us stuff being like, we're a club? This is the Latin King Club. We're not a gang. It's a club.
We are the Crip Club.
This is a club war.
No bloods allowed, and the Z is back, and the S is a Z. Anytime that a very tough thing has a very specific thing they like to be called, I think that there's a really funny analogy to be made with the way that identity politics works now. And so you could start the joke by saying something like, you know, there's this biker gang, sorry, motorcycle club. I know they're very sensitive about that. You know, it's like, we can't call them a motorcycle gang anymore. You know?
There's some... Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, this is just... I used to... When I played in bands, I rehearsed at a studio that was next door to the Hells Angels club in the East Village. And one time I was walking past a couple of them on the street, and I just heard one go to the other, I really need a macchiato right now, or something. And I just thought that was one of the most ridiculous things that that's not what I would expect to have heard.
Okay, that's great. That got more legs out of that than I was even expecting. So I'm glad that you like that, guys.
Got a lot of vroom vrooms.
Got a lot of vroom vrooms.
That joke has vroom vrooms.
Okay, here's another one. People talk about being the big spoon and being the little spoon, right? I'm sure we're all familiar with big spoon, little spoon. Okay. Here's the fucking problem I have. The goddamn conspiracy. When you put spoons inside each other, they're the same size, and that's why it works. Two of the exact... There is no big spoon. There is no little spoon. In fact, if you had a bigger spoon and a smaller spoon, then it does not work. The whole concept of spooning, that is not what it is. This is spooning. Why are we calling it big spoon, little spoon? It is not. That's not what it is.
And then you say, so now I'm single.
The whole metaphor is forked up.
Yes.
Thank you. Good night.
Do I need the visual aid still, or do you guys understand?
I love the joke because
I don't get it.
Are going to be dropping your very first F-bomb on stage, and it'll be because of this. And also you'll need props, which...
I love that you had spoons ready to go for this.
In case It was funny. I'm like going through the bits as if I don't know which ones I'm going to do. Obviously, I was doing this.
I'd love to see there's a layout of different props you have there. Here today.
I'll do the container bit next time.
What if that's just how Rob remembers all of his jokes? Like he's got a little motorcycle on the desk. Yeah. A little airplane bottle of booze for when he's working on his one-man show.
So yeah, that's my big spoon, little spoon thing. I thought of that this morning. I was just like, oh my god, I had a revelation.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jarret's suggestion, while I think that's trodden territory, just saying that's what I'm saying. I think if you can bring that into a real world situation, it is pretty funny.
That's true. Yeah.
I
in a situation where somebody wants to spoon for you to have that rant.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
Oh, like a woman wants to spoon with you or something, and you kind of yell at her.
Like, well, actually,
that's wrong, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, do you want to be big spoon or little spoon tonight? There is no little spoon. Don't you get it?
We're either
spoons are
both
equal.
big spoons or we're both little spoons.
It just depends on which one's on the left side or the right side. It's open spoon, closed spoon. I don't know. It's back spoon, front spoon. They're the same size. That's what spooning is.
Is there a more scientific way to say what they're doing? Is it like insert spoon and inserted spoon?
It's kind of like a tessellation. Are you familiar with tessellations?
I know that I'm not, but probably the audience will be.
I got another bad idea if you want. I got one more.
I haven't heard a bad idea yet.
Oh, great. I love it. This one has to... Nah, I won't do the Independence Day one. We'll save that one for
He takes a little flag thing and puts it away.
He folds it.
So let's see. This was brought to you by the Illuminati. So here's the thing. Okay, the Illuminati.
I'm sorry. What was the first part? What is brought to you?
Anything. Why don't the Illuminati do more like productions? They should do more things. I hear about a lot of the bad things, but I feel like they should get out in front of this. Maybe get like a PR. You know, like that way when people are like, oh, you do know the Illuminati, they killed whatever. They're like, yeah, but I like that collab they did with Elton John. Like, then you'd have things to balance out. I think the Illuminati, just some kind of PR campaign. A little bit.
From the people that brought you secrets.
Yeah.
More secrets coming this summer.
It's super funny. I like it a lot. I'm bumming up against it a little bit because it is a secret organization. It does feel like one of those things that, that's people. Some of the audience is going to think, well, they wouldn't do that because they're a secret organization.
But just a little rebranding, like the Hells Angels.
Yeah, but it's really funny, and especially I think anything that you
secret club.
I think it should be something that's really fun that everybody agrees was great, but was also super weird, because that's sort of what the Illuminati is, right? Like they're, collaborating with the lizard people to keep the secret gold river flowing underneath the Pentagon, stuff like that. So things that are super weird that we know have happened, I think could be really fun, to be like, don't you remember that kid that was like in the inflatable pool that like flew away and everyone was worried about the inflatable pool kid, and it turns out it wasn't even in the inflatable pool. That was the Illuminati. That was great. That was fun.
Everybody loves Beyonce, right?
Yeah. You know how weird Nick Cage is now? You're welcome.
My issue is mostly with the logical part of my brain is like they're supposed to be secret, so I can't go with the bit.
They are supposed to be secret. I guess that's true.
But people do talk about them a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, for a secret group, they get mentioned quite a bit.
That's a good justification.
Right.
For a secret group, they kind of get mentioned a bit. So I think in lieu of that,
they should get out in front of these stories.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool. I like that.
I feel like somebody has this joke, because I don't think I thought of it, but I do think it's a really funny idea that so many of these conspiracy theories, what you need for them to make sense is that the Illuminati is not just doing like weird world control things, but they're also leaving clues for you in dollar bills. You know? Like, why is that part of the mythos? You know? Like,
they're like the Beatles leaving Paul is dead clues everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's the point of that part of the Illuminati? But I can't, for the life of me, I can't think of like where I heard that idea from. But I think it's so funny.
I've talked about that when I talk about conspiracy theories quite a bit. Like that's always just the silliest part. It's like, and number one is that you have to get a bunch of people to agree. Like, think about how hard it is to get a group of friends to see a movie. And now you have to get people to plant explosives throughout both World Trade Centers, and nobody has said anything. You have to cover that, and you're also like, and we'll have a flight that has 11 in it. I mean, maybe we've just talked about that. That could be. But
is there any way that we can redesign the dollar bill so that when you fold it a certain way, you see the Twin Towers? There's one guy in the Illuminati who's like whose job it is to leave breadcrumbs for the most insane people in the world. That could actually, what Brett said about trying to get people to meet up and agree on something could actually fit really well into your motorcycle gang thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that too when he said
yeah.
Because it's like, I guess, you know, the Illuminati has to be a group of people that are consistently great at communicating and doing meetups. So I think that's the Hells Angels.
Yeah, they're so good at meetups. Like if they did a bake sale, it'd be like really well organized.
Also, do you think that the Illuminati has a group message?
They just put their messages in dollar bills. You're like,
Seems like I have to bring the virgins to the potluck tonight.
Oh, that's funny.
You see, we default the dollar bill this way.
That's how secret they are. They can't even communicate directly. They have to do it in dollar bills and other. It's almost like how they say.
You at the strip club? No, honey, I'm in the Illuminati.
Because don't they say also like homeless people have like a written language where it's like symbols that they.
That's actually historic. That's historically accurate. That hobos had codes where they would like scratch things into the wall, depending on like if somebody who lived there was nice and if they would like let you work for food or something. So
the Illuminati is doing some version of that. They don't communicate directly, but they're leaving messages for each other.
Someone's got to go to a bodega and be like, "Can you break a 20? I need to text my friend Aaron back."
That's great.
Okay, then you write the message down, and then you just spend that dollar, and you have to wait for him to get it.
You have to wait for some movie to come out, and they use symbolism from the Illuminati.
That's all excellent. Thank you, guys. Yeah, those were silly ideas, and we made something of them.
All right, is that it for you today, Rob?
Yes, sir.
And that's what 2 weeks worth was?
Oh, shit. Burn. That's a bread burn.
Wait till you hear mine.
I've got more of these. I didn't say.
No, you said quantity, not quality. You've been previously for a while. You were coming in with like, I want to work hard on my one-man show.
Yeah.
And I want to work, and I've been like, this is a half an idea, and so it was just funny. You're like, 2 weeks off. I've completely changed. One man show is done. Finished it.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yeah.
Give me a second. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so this is my first one. I just watched Hamilton on Disney Plus, and I loved it. My favorite part was right at the end when he's about to leave for the duel. And I would say spoiler alert, but it's been 216 years, so I think you've all had ample time, and books are free at the library. Alexander Hamilton goes to leave for the duel in the middle of the night, and his wife says, she sings, obviously it's a musical, "Alexander, come back to sleep." And he goes, "I have an early meeting out of town." She goes, "It's still dark outside, And that's my favorite part. Because at that point in the show, so much has happened that you forget that Alexander Hamilton was caught having an affair. And just based on what I know about relationships, that is not how his wife would have reacted to him leaving the house in the middle of the night. That song should have gone like this. Alexander, come back to sleep. I have an early meeting out of town. With who? Just some guys from work. Which guys specifically? I want to know their names. Well, Aaron Burr's one of them. I just think it's funny that you're meeting him in the middle of the night because you're fighting. You told me the two of you were fighting, so it's weird that you two would be meeting up at the middle of the night. We are meeting up. In fact, we're going to duel. Good. I hope he kills you. This is the classic Jarret problem of having a very funny end with a ton of setup. So,
in this case, I think the setup is funny.
Oh yeah,
like how long the song goes on for and all that. I think I like.
Well, that's
that.
the punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The setup is too long.
Well, how long was it? Like just explaining.
Explaining that he's the spoiler alert, all that stuff is.
Here's how the song goes.
Well, that
yeah.
Here's
you just need to go.
He had an affair.
At some point, Alexander Hamilton is on his way to duel Aaron Burr, and he has at this point had an affair, and this is how the song does go. But knowing that he had an affair, it would have gone more like this.
Yeah. Do you think if I bring out the affair before I sing the song, it's going to tip my hand too much?
You don't have to bring it out. That was the way I just said it there, but you could say he's on his way to duel, and the song goes like this. But at this point, he's had an affair, so it really should have gone like this.
Well, no matter where you mention he's had an affair, I mean, they're going to know what your version of the song sort of
is
will
going
be
to sound like,
no matter what.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't.
Well, what I want to avoid is the people who haven't seen the show, who hear about the affair and then listen to me singing, and as they're listening to the song, they think, "Oh, that is not how a woman would react to their husband leaving in the middle of the night." I want that part to be a surprise.
I totally agree.
know?
Brett's right, and you were right that order is the best. That.
I mean, I only included the spoiler alert thing because I was like, I need to put a joke in the top somewhere because my setups go too long.
Oh, I don't think so. I think that the spoiler alert feels exactly as you felt it was. It just felt like it was this crammed in thing, but somewhere in my brain, I'm like, I don't think this is his main point. I think he obviously wants to get to something else. So I say just get to the thing, which is super funny and more original than a spoiler alert is. Even so I'd rather just get to your more original thought for sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll see if I can trim that down, but that was my main concern about it.
Really funny.
It is.
Thanks. I was actually super excited about this joke when I thought of it. Okay. Anything else for that one, guys?
It was really, really good, Jarret.
It is. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't
Super
realize how
good.
excited you were.
And your voice. So
I tried to include as many like things that you hear in that fight. the one that sticks in my head being the I just think it's funny part.
Yeah, I like that. So she already caught him. I don't know the music from the musical. I'm still waiting.
She didn't catch him. He basically confessed in the newspaper. Because some people found out. He was worried that if it like trickled out slowly, then it would like be this giant scandal, and so he basically wrote this whole thing basically saying, okay, it's not a big scandal, here's what happened, I had an affair, this guy started blackmailing me, so I paid him off, and so but that does nothing to do with me and my politics. And then everybody was like, sorry, no, that's a huge scandal still. And his wife was like, no, I'm very mad about this.
He Letterman'd it, is what he did.
Oh,
yeah, but Letterman succeeded somehow.
Yeah, Letterman got away with that pretty good.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Class act.
I think though that
does that change anything?
Even if
Getting
even
away
if
with it
he-
makes him a class act.
Oh yeah, it makes him I think for the joke, even if he hadn't been caught cheating, it still would be very suspicious.
Yes.
Like any
Oh,
guy,
that's a really good point.
any guy leaving in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like trying to sneak out. He's not even like, "Hey, just so you know, I got this thing." Like he's just sneaking out. I think
Mm-hmm.
almost any guy in a relationship would seem very suspicious in that
You
moment.
know what? That's really funny, and then maybe that's a way that I can like build the tension a little bit because I can mention that, and that might be funny by itself, and then I mention the affair, and then do the song after that. That's a really funny idea. He
Now,
says to himself,
He's sneaking off so he can go duel Aaron Burr.
"Yeah,
So weird. And why is it in the middle of the night that they're doing this? Or is it really an early morning duel?
duels happen at dawn," is I think part of the
Oh, so he needs time to get there. Yeah.
mythos. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were in New York, and the duel happened in Weehawken, New Jersey.
Ooh,
wow.
that's quite a
They get all the
walk.
way over to Jersey.
It's a
yeah.
walk.
Horse ride or whatever they have to do.
Yeah, the path was terrible back then.
It was literally just a path.
That should go in the joke.
That's going in the joke.
That's
That's
definitely
going in the joke. That's for East Coasters only. People in Georgia will not find it funny. I think I have time for one more, unless you guys had anything else for that one.
I mean, we keep on coming up with gold. I don't know why you'd be in the rush. We can go to the next thing. I can
Oh, did you have something?
multitask. No, I'll just keep thinking about it because I kind of like this concept. Because I have so many questions, and for every question that I have, because
go
I'm
ahead.
hosting the show, it makes me think of a new thought. Like, for example, I didn't know the fact that duels happen at dawn, so it wasn't like something that I was familiar with. So that's just another thing that could be fun to joke about, which you can and you will now with the path joke. I think it's great.
Oh yeah, that's another funny thing that she can sing about. You know, and it's like, oh, you're having a duel at dawn. How interesting! Isn't it funny that they happen at night? Okay,
I think it's funny that like he has to.
I
defend
think
himself
I've got a
against
duel. Also on Sunday with my tennis coach.
Why is it at dawn?
I don't know. Maybe because of the secrecy.
It gets
Maybe
too hot.
It's
hard
gotta
to
be like-
focus on my guns.
it makes sense to be like, you know, you get up early before anybody else so that nobody can stop you. It's just like you know, there's no chance of anybody running into anybody.
All the women and children are still asleep. Maybe.
Yeah, the authorities can't stop you. There's supposed to be like a doctor on hand to heal the bullet wound because it's not supposed to be fatal. It's supposed to, you know, if you die, you die. But
Oh, it's not supposed to be fatal.
Yeah,
It's
they
not like a
specifically
Wild West
have-
kind of thing.
they specifically have a doctor there. You know, if it's basically just like it's the entire point of it is honor. We have to maintain our honor and our dignity. So the ideal situation for a duel is you get there, you're both like, you're an asshole, no, you're an asshole. Everybody decides to go through with it. You know, you do your 30 paces, you turn around, you shoot, you both miss, and you're like, okay, we both missed. All right, well, at least our honor is intact, and then everybody goes home. That's like
aren't
the
they-
ideal duel.
They're aiming at each other. So
Yes.
are they intentionally trying to shoot each other in the leg or something?
I mean, some people are legitimately mad at each other, and some people are just defending themselves where they think he's really going to try to kill me, so I better really try to kill him. You know, there's a whole, you know, prisoner's dilemma about it.
Have you seen Hamilton or heard of Hamilton?
Me?
Either of you.
No.
Yeah,
I
I
both have a
think,
lot of questions that are covered in Hamilton.
I watched it on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they talk about how they shoot in the
Continental
air. and-
Congress.
You know, I was sort of in and out. I mean, it was fine, but it's like, I don't know. It's very long.
It is.
How
it
does
is
a
very
bill
long.
become a law? No.
Can you incorporate Schoolhouse Rock?
That's
into
actually
this?
shit, Anthony, you fucking son of a bitch. I say that's actually I bring that up in my next joke about Schoolhouse Rocks. But I do, as much as I love answering all these dual questions, I do want to get to one more joke.
Back then, the schoolhouse was made of rocks.
That's right. And that joke will work good in Jersey, but not on the East Coast, weirdly enough.
There are stone people over there.
My fiance works in publishing. She works in a division called sub-rights, which is who holds the subsidiary publishing rights. You know, like who can publish this in Korea, who can publish this in Turkey. But every time she uses the term sub-rights, I start to laugh because it sounds like a group that protests for rights for submissives, like for their rights. Because they're submissives, their protests are like, we have too many rights. Take away our rights. Tell us what to do. It will make us horny.
That's great.
What do we want? You tell us.
When do we want it? When we least expect it.
It's up to you.
The surprise is part of it.
It is a little similar to my sub looking for a dom joke.
Oh, I didn't even know that you had a sub looking for Dom joke.
I thought. Oh, maybe I didn't do it on this. I have. I have a joke. It's. I saw a dating profile sub looking for a dom, and I was like, yeah, of course, because it wouldn't be a sub looking for a sub. Just two people sitting on opposite ends of the bed, going like, yeah, whatever you want to do. But yours is a lot better of a format. I like it a lot.
I feel like it's good enough. I think they're different enough where we could both do them, but not on the same show. Is the only thing I would say.
I agree.
Oh no, maybe not on the same. But you might be able to get away with it on the same show.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. I mean, we could probably do that.
Show, and we both know we're going to do it. The other person, after they do that, they have to tag the other person in.
No, I was gonna say you just do that thing where, like, you know, previous comic was talking about subs. You know.
Yeah, but the punchline is so parallel.
You think so?
Yeah.
Could I do my Subway sandwich joke on the same show?
Can I do my substitute teacher joke?
Can I do
my submarine joke?
Goes under the water joke.
All right. That was fun. Well, that's it then. Thank you so much for your assistance, boys.
Nice work.
Oh.
Thanks.
Felt like you were a sexy MILF the way you called us boys. Thank you for your assistance, boys.
I am wasted as a straight white male. Could have been a much better cougar. Hello, boys.
I didn't know what you meant when you said you were wasted. I was like, man, it's a little early to start drinking.
All right. I think it's you now, Anthony, right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
So today, I have one concept that is not a joke, and I think it could be a joke.
The point of the podcast. I thought maybe going over the premise of the song, you would kind of get it, but I could refresh.
Well, we're just supposed to talk about what's on our mind, right?
With our enemies.
No, this is...
Happen to be enemies.
When we were...
Wait. We have to do a parody episode where we work on drama with our enemies. For enemies, writing drama.
I like that the song is angrier too.
Boom, 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 boom.
It's those big drums from...
Their show is called This Is a Thing. All right? Now, this is a thing.
It turned into a whole thing. A whole fucking thing.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of This Is a Thing Now.
So to be perfectly honest with you, Brett, we've never been friends. All right, I've never liked you, but that does make dramatic sense. That I actually kind of the idea seems to work.
Okay, I hate this idea and I hate you. Here's how I think it could be better.
First, you kill yourself. So anyway, so this is an idea that I've had for a while, and last time I was looking through all of my half half jokes, and at the end I stumbled on this, and I thought potentially it could be something that we talked about for more time than I had last time. So the concept is that the human brain is the only thing that named itself. Because a human being with a human brain saw like a diagram or saw an actual brain, and they were like, oh, we're going to call that a brain.
What's a brain?
And it's the only thing like that. There's no that I can think of. There's no other thing that came up with the name for the thing.
Do you think it would be funny to frame this as we actually don't know what anything is called? Because we've just been giving things names. Like, we don't know if a chair wants to be called a chair. We don't know if a dog wants to be called a dog. The only thing that we can 100% be sure we know what its name is the human brain, because it's the only thing that named itself. It's just been sitting in our heads going, I'm brain! I'm brain!
I like the idea of a brain going, I'm brain. That's funny.
I can't wait until they discover me and then they can ask me what to call me because I'm brain!
Although I don't like the way in which they're going to discover me, to be honest with you. It's not going to be a rock. Maybe a brain saw another brain and it was like, brain! Also, that's the only thing that could come up with that concept is a brain.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of this joke?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So a bunch of scientists are like dissecting a brain, like, what do you think this part do? And the brain is like, I don't know. I think it might be the embolengata, which controls movement, but I don't know.
What do I know? I'm just a brain.
I'm just the
dumb
thing
old
you're
brain.
studying.
So, yeah, I don't know. I thought of that quite a while ago, and I could not figure out how it's more of a just an interesting fact than a joke. But
I wonder if the
that's
first
what
time
most
somebody saw a brain, it was like when a cat sees itself in the mirror for the first time. Sorry.
I love the angle that Brett is going down, because what he is like accurately suggesting is that the brain that came up with the word brain did not see itself, but yet saw a third-party brain. So he saw some other brain, but he recognized it as probably something that's like himself.
That's what I am.
That's what I am. That's me.
finally I'm represented somewhere.
I'm like the first person to see like a decapitated head. They looked inside and they were like, "Oh my God, Barry!" Sorry, I didn't realize that Brett was crushing an act out while I was explaining an idea.
The act out began before the idea
I feel
started.
rude. I feel rude. If I was doing an act out and someone else was talking, I would be furious. I would be like...
But I can only tell you to shut up, and that ruins the act out. I can't act out to you to shut up.
Exactly. Maybe it's that thing where like the first person to ever see brain is like, oh my God, Barry had a really weird thing in his head. That's probably what killed him. Yeah. Kill it! And then they like smush his head more.
So that they would have had to have seen several brains before they're like, oh, maybe we all have those.
Or, and then, they see another brain and they're like, this is a pandemic. We got to protect our brains. We got to close up our holes, because I guess that's how they're getting in there.
I guess, well, but I wonder what language it was originally, I don't know, Latin? Or like what would it have actually been called in the language of wherever they decided to name brains? I guess that would be, maybe that would be the starting point for trying to figure out how to make this a joke.
Well, it's interesting because language is very, very old, and we didn't have to think of brains in a scientific way. We could have just, some old ape out there could have just smashed another ape with a rock and still had some name for it. Or we could have been killing animals and eating their brains earlier too.
Yeah, I guess you would need to
we're
go.
the first species that has language.
Yeah, but I mean, our species killing some other animal and then calling it brains wouldn't be a human brain.
Specifically with words,
Yeah.
the first human brain would be the first thing to come up with the word brain.
Yeah. Right.
I wonder if brain. I mean, it probably wasn't the first thing that got named either. So like they were holding on to that one. It's like, you know, no.
Wait till they get a load of me.
They're like, what is this? Banana? Should we call it a brain? No, brain. No, we're saving brain for something special. I don't know. It's just. I don't know. I don't know what's funny about this idea. That's the problem I have.
There's a lot funny. It's too much funny. We can't handle it.
But it is interesting,
Jared,
right? Just the idea of.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Should we sculpt you? You got a lot closer, and you were like.
I like to give people the opportunity. I understand I have a very Romanesque face. So every once in a while I like to just...
You just want to be bigger so that you're going to make this the YouTube thumbnail. It'll be 3 tiny heads and then your face real close.
What a great episode.
Does any of this help, Anthony?
Oh yeah, I'm writing it down. I'm taking notes
With your brain.
with my brain. I don't actually expect any kind of tags or notes on any of my jokes anymore. I just
I think that Jared's approach was the best. I liked that.
I like
format.
the way he said that was pretty nice, and it made it palatable in a way that otherwise it may have been a little heady.
a little heady.
I like the idea of the brain just waiting around to be discovered, because it's like it's self-aware, but it knows that humans don't know about its existence just yet. Like people don't know that it's really him that is like doing all this cool stuff, and it's just like I don't know, there's something about that that's interesting to me, I suppose.
Like the person's taking credit and the brain's like, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're being honest. Yeah, you know.
Right.
We know the truth here.
Right. Yeah, and that goes even further, like, you know, to I don't know, like how we even measure intelligence or something, but like you might think of someone as mentally smart and that's their brain, but someone's physically very capable, but that's also your brain, just, you know, calculating how much inertia or energy you're supposed to give to certain muscles, etc., all that kind of stuff. That's not very funny, but it's interesting.
I'm just happy to be the one that consistently stumps everybody on whether or not this is a joke that's even been presented.
I read something about the idea that neuroscientists were debating whether your brains are actually almost like separate identities, and one of them can't really speak because it doesn't have language. And so
The
it's
left
just
and
kind
right?
of, yeah. So one of them is just kind of like its own identity, just kind of in torture because it can't form words.
Oh.
There is an excellent video on this phenomenon.
I lost you video audio-wise.
Yeah,
Jarret,
sorry.
or you went down quite a bit.
Put my mic far away. And that is
that's how it happened.
This was a produced by Brett Druck mystery. No need to call the Genius Bar, guys. I think we got this one. There's an excellent YouTube video about this by CPG Gray, because cutting the connection between the left and right brain used to be a
Fun weekend.
It used
activity.
to be a way that they would treat schizophrenia. But what they found some very bizarre things were happening to people when they got that connection severed. Like if they blocked vision to the left and the right eyeball, and you put like a whole bunch of optics on over here, and then over here you put a sign that said pick up the red ball, then you would pick up the red ball, and then the interviewer would say, why'd you pick up the red ball? You would say, oh, I don't know, I just wanted to squeeze it.
That's very cool. That's so interesting. I've thought deeply about that exact subject, because I think that as we know more and more about ourselves, we realize that a lot of our decision making is unconscious, and our conscious minds are kind of after the fact explaining why we wanted to do the thing that
X, Y, or Z.
Yeah. And I used an analogy. I said, to the point where if a boulder on the top of a hill begins rolling down the hill, and then if you gave that boulder consciousness, the ability to speak, it might say, hey, why don't
Was that Anthony or Jarret?
That was me.
That was Anthony.
Sorry.
That was the perfect interruption.
I had to. It wouldn't have been funny after the fact.
No, it's so perfect.
That was great.
After he settles down and finishes screaming, you can ask him, well, why'd you roll down the hill? And they're going to be like, oh, I don't know, I felt like it might be nice over there. Or like it would justify, even though we know that it was gravity, we know the physics behind it. And so I'd argue that similarly, we're just kind of bouncing around doing what physics and other sort of pressures make sense for us to just continue to survive, not in a really thoughtful manner. But then after the fact, we kind of come up with these more things, these decisions. Like if you're low in potassium, sometimes you start craving bananas or something like that. And there's all these
chewing on ice and stuff.
Yeah, there's all these little things that we do, and we might say, oh, I was kind of in the mood for it. I thought maybe this, and we justify it. That's really cool. I like that. That's very interesting.
I've been thinking about that too, Rob, but I think about it in a much different sense. Most of...
Yes.
I think about it like this. Anthony, go.
I think at this point in the joke, if you point to a neuroscientist in the audience and say, this guy knows what I'm talking about.
The dumbest person, and the guy who looks the dumbest. He's drooling. You're like, this guy.
This
guy's a neuroscience. Neuroscience. This guy's a neuroscientist. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I love this. This is a great concept. I'm a big fan. I love jokes or any concept that starts in this area. It's great.
So I forget exactly, but it's recorded how Jarret said to approach it, and I'll try to see if I can use that as a sort of a skeleton of the next draft. Maybe I'll bring it back to you guys in however long.
Yeah, I'd love that, because I think Brett said a lot of things too that kind of expanded it out, and just picking out a lot of different facets of the brain being self-aware. That just lends itself to a lot of funniness.
And isn't it the brain that stays alive the longest after we die?
I think that's the penis.
What about for women?
It might have been an impulse that Rob just said that.
Women die all at once. When they die, everything gets shut down at the exact same time.
Yeah.
They're much more efficient. They're much more well organized than men are. When a man's body dies, it's like it goes foot, kneecap, calf.
We all remember the song, Jarret.
And I guess it makes sense because men think with their penises, so the penis would outlast the brain. Mm-hmm. The brain's like, I think we're dying. The penis is like, we got some time left. Let's do this. So thanks, guys.
All right, I'm recording and getting my notes out. That wasn't a joke.
I know. I'm just in my head thinking of be funny. I just thought it'd be funny if you're just like, okay, got my jokes out, pressing record. Ah!
Okay.
I love that the biggest laugh of this whole episode was not even a word.
Good timing. Okay, so my first thing is, it's not a joke, it's an invention. I'm just going to get it.
Do you know the concept of the...
All right, so my first bit today is a lemon chicken piccata over linguine. You can see it right here.
Oh,
what I
shit,
did was I mashed the tomatoes myself.
That's
So what do you guys want to do with that?
All right, so my first joke, I'm actually going to take my headphones out for.
Okay.
So I wait your reaction when I put them back in.
okay.
Here's something the mainstream media won't show you. Why aren't they reporting on that, huh? You know? What are they scared of?
Truth. Oh, man. I love the visual gags. I love when we do visual gags.
It's great.
That's really great.
It's great.
And it's just going to be so fun on stage.
And when your headphones were out, I said, let's pretend like we like this.
That's excellent. I've seen you post a series of these on Facebook, but that was still just as funny.
All right.
I love this joke. I think it works as a standalone, but I also think that you could justify it by explaining the phrase and saying, like, I always see people talking about, you know, the mainstream media won't tell you about this. You know, they always sort of insinuate some sort of,
Conspiracy.
malignant objective, or like some evil plot. But sometimes the mainstream media doesn't report on things just because that's because they're dumb. Like, here's something the mainstream media won't tell you about.
Right.
Should we, I think people,
all that's... Sorry, go ahead.
For people that are just listening to this potentially, are we going to describe what he did in any way? Or
I did the worm standing up.
Yeah. and that's something the mainstream media will not show you.
I've never seen anyone cover it. Not CNN.
I'll push back against Jarrett's point. I do think that phrase is ingrained enough in the culture. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't know that phrasing. So everything that Jarret you said is 100% true, but I think it's all implicit, and I think I think it's all there.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think it can work as a standalone bit that comes out of nowhere, but also think that if you wanted to couch it in justification, you could use that.
Yeah, if I go to the South and I find, or the middle of the country, and I find that people are going, yeah, then maybe I'll add that in. They get riled up.
That's funny. I love this as a runner gag. If you have, props that you just have something in your pocket. It's like a dumb
spoons, maybe
keychain or a panda bear. You did that bit already. You're halfway through your set. Oh, by the way, here's something the mainstream media won't show you. What are they afraid of?
I don't know if
you can do that 3 or 4 times in a set. I think people fucking love it.
I don't know if this ruins the bit, but I think it might be funny to end the dance with like one word that insinuates like an actual conspiracy theory. So if you did the joke like, here's something the mainstream media won't tell you about, dance, 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 everyone's laughing, then you go up to the microphone and you go, Benghazi.
I was thinking fake news, but Benghazi is good too. Her emails. Something.
Exactly, emails.
You can, if you go with my runner idea, you could do your vid thing. You could pull out something, and then you're actually free to do literally anything you want. You can always pull it back. You can pull it back when it's crowd work too. If you're talking to somebody, you could just be like, there's something the mainstream media, just that could be a person, it could be a person's hat or a vest that they're wearing. You can literally point to anything in the crowd that's dumb or stupid that you don't understand.
Where did you go on your first date? Oh, we went to a pizzeria. Well, why isn't the media reporting on that?
Yeah. Like, depending on how much they like that joke, you can just pull it out of your ass at any point. I think that'd be such a funny callback.
I think there might be room for something like this where, like, you talk about the power of that phrase, you know? Like, it really seems like you can get away with anything if you just say, you know, here's something the mainstream media won't tell you. Yeah, hey, here's something the mainstream media won't tell you about. I finished already.
I keep picturing this as like if Bo Burnham was doing it, it'd be like, here's something the mainstream media is not showing you, and then you just pull confetti out of your pocket and just throw, and then you can leave the stage on that.
I love that too. Yeah, that's. I think that if you were to explain the way Jarret's saying, that you could get any mileage out of you want with it after you do the first act out. So I would do that first act out. Everyone who's going to get the laugh squeezes out of it, they do. And then if you want to intellectualize it after the fact, you totally could. And then you could do as many word bits as you want.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
All right.
That's super funny. I love that.
Thanks, guys. Okay. I never really understood the trend of having jeans, ripped jeans with holes in them. I just is that cool? Oh, how did I get here? I was dragged. Is that anything?
I like it.
Jarret looks skeptical.
I was thinking.
I like it. I just feel like it needs a little something. I'm trying to think of what it might be.
I think though, like a lot of times when people wear jeans with holes in them, they wear them a lot. So it'd be like, you know, I was dragged, but it was last week. I just kept wearing these.
Yeah.
Are you talking about people that rip the jeans themselves, or people that buy them that way, or?
I think people that buy them that way, but also just the trend in general.
Oh, me? Sure. I fall a lot. Like, what are these jeans saying? What's the statement?
Maybe something about the origin where, like, someone really cool ripped their jeans at, like, a Lenny Kravitz party. And they were like, oh my God, how'd you rip your jeans? It's just like the coolest way possible. It's just like, I was hanging out with Mick Jagger and I fell on a nail. You know? It's so cool.
And everybody else comes in and they're like, oh, they're wearing ripped jeans. Did he hang out with Mick Jagger too?
It has this reputation where it's cool people, but wouldn't it be like priests that had ripped jeans first from all the praying?
I don't think they're wearing jeans in the church. That's my only issue there.
What are robes? I guess
I would love to see a priest in jeans.
Well, whatever pants they're wearing. Do they wear pants?
I mean, I think the real answer to this, if we were going to go, like, you know, anthropologically, would be that at some point culture started adopting things from the lower class that they thought were cool. They were co-opting them in a way to sort of like expand the boundaries of what they could market. Is probably like the actual reason.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's 100% true.
But
then how come?
I don't know how you make that funny.
Starving was never cool.
It was in the 90s. All the Calvin Klein models.
Boss, you know, every model. You know,
heroin chic, they called it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was hearing that the droopy pants was like a prison culture thing as well.
Or just people that couldn't afford, you know, clothing that fit. That, you know, they go to Salvation Army, they pick up whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know? You got generations that, you know, you don't get new clothes, you just get your older brother's clothes, but you haven't grown into them yet, so now you just have a baggy look, you know?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that and this is, you know, not really that jokey related, but the idea that people who just do a thing and they're professionals and they're comfortable in their own skin, that becomes cool. You know, the carpenter pants because of the carpenter, or the painter pants because of the painter, or the Timberlands because of the construction worker. The people who like just live and own the thing that they do, and then it becomes a trend, a fashion trend after the fact. that's just a thing. Joke-wise, though, I think I know that they also incorporated the paint as well as the holes. And I don't know what statement that's making. It's like, oh, me, I paint, and I'm bad at it.
I get it everywhere.
Not just where it's supposed to go.
You should see my fence. It's very uneven.
I like that.
So that's what I wanted to. Yes, I like him falling and being bad at painting. I like dragging too, but being dragged, for some reason, for me, it takes his agency out of it. But when he's just stupid,
yeah, I mean, I think I could do both.
Oh yeah, it's true. You could incorporate all of them, whatever you want.
I keep on thinking about, I don't know how you incorporate this, but I like the idea of all the things that it doesn't work for, like a plane. You know, like no one thinks that a plane with a wing.
Oh, Jarret, you are.
Oh, Jarret's frozen.
That never happens to Jarret.
Yeah, it's never happened to Jarret.
His internet went just like the AC and the fridge and all the rest.
No.
Oh,
Maybe his AC kicked on and then everything else shut down. That's how much energy it takes.
That's got to be the thumbnail of the episode. Him frozen with his elbow up in the air.
He looks like he just hung himself.
He does look comfortable, though.
Well, Jarret always looks comfortable. Say what you think Jarret was going to say. You never see a plane that's like... I got a wing off the
He's
side.
hurt, because it's poor, so he's just like, with jeans with holes in it, you'd never see a plane that's like, oh yeah, I got a broken wing, you know.
The plane is like, yeah, I crashed.
I don't fly too great, but man, I look cool, don't I?
Yeah. Or if your plane has a broken wing, you're never like, wow, this is so cool. So Jarret, a plane with a broken wing.
Yeah. No one's like, ooh, cool.
I guess
that was the whole thing?
That was the whole thing.
2 words. Ooh, cool.
Ooh, cool. I
That's
thought
the
you were
only
going
part that you
It's
guys
so
missed.
long.
That's the only part.
That's all we missed. We were trying to guess. My guess was that you were going to say, how did I get here? I crashed.
That's pretty good. Did you have a guess, Rob?
Yeah, I just intellectualized it a bunch, basically being like, yeah, you don't see a plane coming in with his wing as if, that's like a cool style or whatever it is. So it's pretty much like that. But I didn't know your punchline was gonna be so short.
Oh, cool.
mine was you never look at a plane with a broken wing and you go, wow, that's pretty cool.
So
yeah,
I guess we were all pretty close.
yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of circled around it.
Are we done with the? Should we do some kind of wrap up so it's not just ending on a weird edit?
Oh, I can do the outro.
Yeah, Brett did some great outros.
Yeah, do that outro, Brett.
All right, guys, this has been. Nope. Thanks
You
for
ever
tuning in,
wonder
guys.
how? Nope.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been another episode of... No, I don't know why I keep saying this is another episode. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to follow us... Nope. Oh, God. There's too much pressure. I got this. Okay. Here we go. Thanks for listening and watching. If you want, you can subscribe to our YouTube. And if you want to see episodes before they come out, you can go to our patreon.com/ITApod. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we will see you in the comments.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check back for more individual clips and full episodes every Monday, or you can listen wherever you enjoy podcasts. If you want to support the show and get access to special fan-only content, go to patreon.com/ITApod. That's ITApod, as in Is This Anything Podcast. Relevant links in the description. Take care.